Hi everyone, I'm Sonia Choquette. I am here today to talk to you about something that a lot of my students and clients have asked me about over the past couple of months, and that is how do I save my relationship, which is just suffering in the constrictions and the intensity of lockdown. It's just like too much togetherness has not been helpful. So if you are new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button because you'll want to be notified of all these informative and really helpful tips and tools that I'll be posting on a regular basis about how to live a genuinely empowered, intuitive life. Now, today, this conversation has a lot more to do with you than your partner, even though it's about saving your relationship with your partner or your family or just anybody who you have to kind of spend your time with. So the first thing to know about us as sensitives, and if you're a sensitive person, if you're empathic, if you're affected by energy, it's certainly going to be a bigger challenge for you than maybe someone who is less perceptive or less responsive, a little, less hyper aware and hyper empathic. So you have to know what takes care of you. You have to become aware of what your boundaries are so that you communicate them instead of being offended and upset when they aren't respected and they aren't honored. Because certainly if you don't know what they are, someone who's maybe less perceptive and sensitive will hardly know where they are on your behalf. So the first thing to recognize is that truly, in spite of what you feel, nobody's your enemy, not even the person you want to strangle the life out of right now. Just come back to your body and know that what I need is maybe a little bit more specialized than what other people need, and that it is up to me to become clear about that. So the first thing that a sensitive person needs, an empath, is you need to know where your boundaries are. You need to know what your true yes and your true no and your true give me some space energetic lanes are. And so I would ask you to make a list of all the things that really aggravate you. Someone maybe being noisy, for example. Sensitives and empaths, we tend to be very noise responsive and we need quiet. So maybe that's one of the things you need to know is that I need a period of predictable quiet. And if you live in a house with a partner and kids and you're all there together and homeschooling and pandemic, and I know it's all changing, but this is just good information in general, maybe even a pair of noise-canceling headphones would be really well worth the investment so that you don't make everybody else quiet. You create the quiet for yourself. And I have found that if you can create a predictable quiet period, maybe once or twice a day, that tends to recalibrate your nervous system, gets you nice and grounded again, kind of helps the energy leave your body that you may have picked up or absorbed. So that's one thing that's very helpful. The second thing that's very helpful is alone time. And again, if you're in close quarters or homeschooling, and I know this is all in transition around the world, but maybe that alone time can be had by you going for a short walk around the block or in the neighborhood or out in nature versus making sure everybody else is quiet in the home. So you want to be realistic. You want to know that my needs are not universal needs, but they are my needs and I do need to respect them. And I find that if you can have a predictable alone time of 20 minutes a day, it really helps your nervous system calm down. You're not hyper vigilant, you're not hyper reactive, and you're not hyper managing everything and everyone with the hope that you're going to get or succeed in getting the space and the quiet you need. Instead, you want to be proactive. I need space. I need quiet. It's how my garden grows. That's just the way that it works. Nothing personal, and I need your support. So rather than getting reactive and frustrated, tell your family, tell your significant other, this is about me. This is my nature. This is my energy. I need support. Will you help me by recognizing that I need these things and helping me achieve and acquire those things instead of having them be unaware, and then you angry or frustrated that they're not aware. One of the biggest blind spots I have recognized with sensitive people is that we do know what other people need. We are tuned in, we are responsive, but we make the mistake sometimes of assuming that that's obvious knowledge and that everybody should have that same level of perception. Well, check your experience. Are you experiencing that level of perception from others? And don't be angry if you're not. If you don't have it, you don't have it. Some people just really live in a denser perception frequency and they don't pick up on things. So it's our job to communicate. Boundaries also have to do with just what allows me to flourish. So I believe that in addition to being able to regulate sound and regulate space, I also think that your physical body needs a lot of hydration and more movement than perhaps you're inclined to give yourself. Because physical movement of some sort keeps your energy flowing, your brain balanced, and it keeps you from absorbing other people's frustrations and energy, which for a sensitive or an empath is very difficult to ignore. So one of the ways to keep your energy flowing, especially if you're not able to get outside or go for a walk, is breathing. You breathe in and out a certain way, and I'm going to show you. You go like this, with no space between the breaths. Do it for like 20 breaths, and then hold your breath for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do 3 to 5 rounds of that, and then go into a quiet breathing mode, and you'll find that clears the energy. I kind of call that the everybody out of the pool breath. You can go into the restroom and do that. You can shut a bedroom door if you have one. You can go out into the backyard or the front yard. You can go into the shower. It really does give you a liberation from all the psychic stress that causes you to be so frustrated and just not like everybody. The other thing is to make a priority daily humor. It can be watching funny YouTubes. It can be watching a funny TV show that you like. I mean, my go-tos are Will and Grace for sure, or The Big Bang, or Friends. I mean, I just watch the vignettes. I don't watch the whole episode. But just something that changes your brain and gets you back into your heart space, because when you laugh, laughter itself is a cleanse. It just cleanses your mood, it cleanses your energy, it cleanses your reactivity, it puts you in a more tolerant, forgiving frame of mind. And so these are things that I think are essentials and not negotiables. So we need our breath, we need movement, we need space, we need quiet, and we need laughter. We also need water and protein. I mean, it sounds so obvious and basic. It's not even like, why am I saying that? But it's because sensitive people tend to abandon your own ship. You tend to get numb to your own body because it gets overwhelmed. You get hypervigilant in taking care of others. I know I do it with my own kids, and I have my whole life. So you have to hydrate and you have to ground with water and protein. So pick your protein of choice. It doesn't have to be a lot, but I'd say drink water on the hour. You'll be amazed at how it keeps your energy clear and how it keeps your mood and your body and your overall spirit more buoyant. So let's not overload on the alcohol or coffee or the diet drinks or the soft drinks or the juices, because that's not going to help you. Psychic people, sensitive empaths, we don't need a lot of sugar because we tend to be a little bit on the hypoglycemic side. Generally speaking, our blood sugar goes up and down because we're riding the waves of everybody's, dynamic energy, emotional energy. So we need water and we need greens. And so if you're going to drink a juice, drink a green juice, a celery juice. I know that was all the craze, but it does have its benefits. It's very cleansing. And then I just feel like you have to accept the situation, but don't sacrifice yourself for the situation. We six sensories tend to be the first to give, the first to adapt, the first to accommodate, the first to, because we're not really all that nice as much as we're just trying to, by taking care of everyone else, get our own needs met. And just check in with yourself. How's that working out? I know it doesn't work out for me very well. We have to get a little bit more centered in ourselves, in our own body. We have to get back in our own body, and we have to have a kind of a hearty self-interest. And that doesn't come easily to sensitives and empaths. We learned as children that my needs don't count and I better take care of everyone else if I don't want to get in trouble or get punished or get traumatized. So we learn to abandon our own ship really young. And now we have to become captain of our own ship, and our ship is our body. So you have to get self-interested, centered in self. That is not selfish. It's really the gift that keeps on giving. So the more you take care of yourself as a priority and don't expect that others are going to do it because you've done it for them, then you're going to really protect your relationships all the way around. The last thing I want to bring to your mind is to notice, to be aware of how and what does set you off, what does trigger you. And I really think that a lot of what triggers you, the people around you are really unconscious of. Someone else's procrastination may trigger you because unconsciously you're saying, I gotta do what they're not doing. I gotta fix what's not being fixed. So here's my final piece of advice, which is my teacher gave me when I was very young and really navigating my own wild emotional experience with my intuition. He said, look, Sonia, mind your own business. At first I thought, wow, that's kind of harsh. But then I took it to my mind and thought, actually, it's the soundest piece of advice I've received and have followed my whole life. To mind your own business is to know what's your priorities, what's your work, what's your job, what's your attention, and minding other people's business, which would make them happy, which would take care of them. Unless they're infants or children that really depend on you, I would say it's not your business. So don't mind the business of other adults. Now, I have had some people ask me, what if somebody else is trying to be in my business, like a busybody mother or mother-in-law or some controlling boss? So what you need to do is know that it's their anxiety that's doing this, not their lack of confidence in you, but just their whole lack of connection to their own spirit. So you just smile and say, thanks for caring, I've got this. And 3 times of repeating that, someone's trying to tell you what to do, you need to say that, thank you for being so helpful, I have this, I've got this, I know what I'm doing. Or thank you, I'm managing this very well. And if you say it 3 times without being aggressive, so what I want you to practice is to say that privately when you're on a walk, you're in the shower by yourself in your brain. So when you do have to say it, it doesn't come out like, I've got this, which then is going to start a fight, and then your nervous system's going to melt down and you're going to be so upset for days and days. So practice. Smile, breathing, got it, thank you. And secondly, don't offer your advice where it's not asked. It seems like everybody surely could take your advice. I know how you feel. If only everybody lived by my advice, life would make me happier, but it wouldn't necessarily make everyone else happier. Refrain from advising. Instead of saying, let me tell you what to do, just like you say, I've got this, flip it and say, you've got this. I'm sure you'll figure it out. I'm sure you'll find your way. I'm sure you'll understand what you need. I trust you to live your own life. Super empowering for both you. Gets you off the hook, empowers your significant other, and it's one body, one spirit. We're each responsible for our own journey. So these are just some really quick tips to help save and preserve your sanity in a relationship. in closed quarters, whether it's a pandemic, a lockdown, an apartment that's too small, too much togetherness on a family vacation, who knows? But don't feel frustrated or bad or judgmental about your needs. Sensitive people bring tremendous gifts to the people in their lives. We are like orchids. You know, orchids are actually pretty hardy and they last and endure and give beauty forever, but they need specific care. And if you give them the care they need, they will bloom and bloom and bloom for years. Well, we're orchids. We need to see ourselves as those beautiful enduring flowers that need specific care, and we're not going to fight it. We're going to cooperate, and we're going to take responsibility for knowing what we need, and we're going to communicate what we need. It's a learning curve, so don't expect perfection, but do be interested, very interested in this. Check it out. I have a book called True Balance, which you might want to read, and an online course called True Balance, which is the care and the support and the kind of really the nurturing of you as a sensitive and sixth sensory person, with fabulous remedies, fabulous just techniques that are easy to do that help your awareness and keep you peaceful and calm with all the people in your life. So again, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do, because these kinds of tips could really help your life become far more pleasant, enjoyable, prosperous, abundant, filled with love and joy, the way you're designed to live. And if you know somebody who really could use this, share it, because this is the kind of information that brings peace to ourselves, our families, our communities, the world. One breath at a time. Okay, everybody, all my love. I'll be back. Bye now.